When people hear the name Adolf Hitler, the first reaction is often shock, anger, or disbelief. Many ask the same question over and over again: how could one person cause so much destruction? The answer is not simple, and it cannot be reduced to he was pure evil alone. To understand his actions, we need to look at psychology, environment, and human behavior, without excusing what he did. History becomes dangerous when we stop trying to understand it. Understanding does not mean agreement. It means learning how such harm becomes possible. Hitler was not born as a monster. He was a human being shaped by experiences, failures, beliefs, and the time he lived in. Psychology teaches us that extreme actions often grow from a mix of personal wounds and social conditions. Ignoring this makes it easier to repeat history instead of preventing it. Humans are influenced by what happens to them early in life. When pain is not processed, it often turns outward. That outward direction can become destructive. As a young man, Hitler experienced repeated rejection. He failed to gain admission into art school, something he deeply wanted. For many people, failure becomes a lesson. For others, it becomes a wound. Hitler struggled to accept personal responsibility for his failures. Instead of self-reflection, he developed resentment. Psychology calls this externalization, blaming the world instead of looking inward. Over time, blame hardens into identity. Once that happens, changing becomes very difficult. This resentment did not exist in isolation. Germany after World War I was economically broken, humiliated by defeat, and emotionally exhausted. Millions felt angry, betrayed, and hopeless. Hitler's psychology aligned with the emotional state of the masses. When personal bitterness meets collective frustration, it creates a dangerous feedback loop. Individual pain feels validated by group anger. The group then amplifies the individual's worst impulses. This mutual reinforcement accelerates extremism. Hitler showed strong signs of narcissistic traits. He believed he was special, chosen, and destined for greatness. Narcissism at this level often comes with an intense fear of humiliation. Any criticism feels like an attack. Any disagreement feels like betrayal. This explains why Hitler could not tolerate opposition and saw enemies everywhere. His self-image required constant reinforcement. When reality challenged that image, he reacted with rage. Another key psychological element was his need for identity and control. He simplified complex problems into simple explanations. Economic collapse? Blame a group. Social change? Blame outsiders. This thinking style is known as scapegoating. It reduces anxiety by giving people someone to point at, instead of facing uncomfortable truths. Simple answers feel comforting in chaotic times. Unfortunately, they are often the most dangerous. Fear played a major role. Hitler constantly spoke about threats, real or imagined. Fear is one of the strongest psychological tools for controlling people. When people are afraid, they stop questioning. They trade freedom for safety. Hitler understood this instinctively, even if he did not understand it academically. Fear narrows thinking. It pushes people toward obedience. Over time, fear becomes a habit. He was also a master of emotional language. Rather than facts, he used feelings: anger, pride, humiliation, hope. Psychology shows that emotions override logic, especially in times of crisis. His speeches were not designed to inform, but to overwhelm. Repetition, symbolism, and dramatic delivery created a sense of belonging for followers who felt lost. Belonging is a powerful human need. When people feel seen, they stop asking questions. Emotion becomes loyalty. Another factor was group psychology. When individuals become part of a crowd, personal responsibility weakens. People do things in groups they would never do alone. This is called de-individuation. Hitler's movement encouraged uniform thinking, uniform behavior, and unquestioning loyalty. The more people identified with the group, the less they questioned its actions. Identity replaced morality. Obedience replaced conscience. Hitler also displayed paranoid thinking. He believed enemies were constantly plotting against him. Paranoia makes aggression feel like self-defense. When someone believes they are always under attack, extreme actions feel justified in their mind. This does not make the actions right, it explains how they became possible. Suspicion replaced trust. Violence felt necessary rather than cruel. Reality became distorted by fear. Power changed him further. Psychology shows that unchecked power amplifies existing traits. It does not create new ones. As Hitler gained control, his impulsiveness, cruelty, and detachment from reality increased. There were fewer people willing or able to challenge him. Isolation at the top made his distorted beliefs stronger. Power removed consequences. Without limits, delusions expand. Authority silenced correction. Power also narrows perspective instead of expanding it. Feedback disappears when fear replaces honesty. Reality becomes filtered through loyalty, not truth. Over time, belief hardens into certainty. One of the most important lessons psychology offers is that obedience played a massive role. Many people followed orders not because they were cruel, but because they feared consequences, wanted approval, or believed authority knew better. Famous psychological studies later confirmed how ordinary people can participate in terrible acts under pressure. Compliance feels easier than resistance. Silence feels safer than speaking up. Over time, obedience becomes normal. Routine turns moral discomfort into habit. Repetition dulls empathy and critical thought. Responsibility feels shared, so guilt feels smaller. That is how systems overpower conscience. It is also important to say this clearly. Understanding the psychology behind Hitler's actions does not excuse them. Explanation is not justification. Studying his mind is about prevention, not sympathy. It helps us recognize warning signs in leaders, systems, and even ourselves. Awareness is protection. Ignorance is vulnerability. Learning is responsibility. Clarity strengthens moral boundaries. Truth loses power when it is avoided. Facing reality honestly is uncomfortable but necessary. Prevention begins with understanding, not denial. History shows us that dangerous leaders do not rise alone. They rise when societies are divided, desperate, and unwilling to question emotionally satisfying lies. Hitler's psychology thrived because millions stopped asking hard questions and started seeking simple answers. Comfort replaced truth. Loyalty replaced thinking. Division replaced empathy. Fear narrows choices and lowers standards. Propaganda works best in emotional climates. When identity replaces evidence, manipulation becomes easy. Division weakens resistance from within. The real danger is believing, this could never happen again. Psychology tells us it can. Whenever fear replaces reason, when leaders promise greatness by dehumanizing others, and when people give up critical thinking for comfort. History does not repeat exactly, but patterns return. Human behavior follows predictable paths. Awareness is the only interruption. Complacency invites repetition. Warning signs appear long before collapse. Small compromises accumulate into big failures. Vigilance is a continuous responsibility. The purpose of studying this is not to dwell on the past, but to protect the future. When we understand how resentment turns into hatred, how fear turns into obedience, and how power distorts the mind, we become less vulnerable to manipulation. Knowledge strengthens judgment. Reflection builds resistance. Psychology becomes a shield. Education sharpens perception. Self-awareness disrupts emotional control. Understanding motives weakens manipulation. Insight creates distance from deception. History is not just about what happened. It is about what humans are capable of, both good and bad.